Okay.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's the regular meeting of May 16th, 2023. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. And please join me in a moment of silent reflection, please. Does any member of council have any pecuniary or financial interest to declare? Wow, everyone's got their hands up. So each councillor will declare at the time. Motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Maureen McMillan. Motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting held on May 2nd, 2023, open session.
All those in favor? Carried. Motion to approve the minutes of committee meeting minutes.
Moved by Brian Koski, second by Carl Keel. Motion to approve the minutes of the finance committee meeting of April the 13th, 2023, open session.
All those in favor? Carried. Bob, we're going to start with you tonight.
Alrighty. This presentation here, particular point. So what we're reporting on, events since April 25th meeting. And in operations on April 28th, we had a burning complaint on Normal North Road. And we also had a brush fire on Mockingbird Road in Day. And on May 1st, we had a vehicle fire on Mass Road. May 1st, we also did a dump burn. This has been requested by Dean. So we want to get rid of some falling before the long weekend. May 9th, we had a burning complaint on North Street. May 13th, Round Lake Road, we had this fire that you see below, it's a shed fire. We also ended up sending 2 people to the hospital by ambulance because they were smoking ventilation issues. You see ongoing activity, we can check the monthly equipment checks. Recent events, we had an officers meeting. I went on May 5th, a day trip to Toronto to see the Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs trade show. May 9th, we had the fire department bi-monthly meetings. On May 11th, we had the experts in and did our ladder certification for another year. Upcoming events on Thursday, we have KPS grade 1 and 2 visiting the fire hall in Kildoot. June the 7th, we have Renfrew County Fire Chiefs meeting. June 8th, St. Andrew's Fun Day. And of course, July 1st, Canada Day fireworks. July the 11th, the bi-monthly meeting. And then we go into September 6th and December 6th, we have the Renfrew County Fire Chiefs meeting. And 2 fire department meetings on September 12th and November 28th. Fire prevention, we've been using the newspaper ads as we've done historically. Training taken, we did foam, gas fired, water shuttle, water tanks on April 25th. On May 2nd, we did ventilation. May 16th, that's tonight, they're up doing hose streams, water supply, hydrants, and appliances. That'll be done on River Road. Scheduled training, May 23rd, we do extrication, specifically focusing on equipment and airbags for vehicle rescue. May 30th, forcible entry. June 13th, got a lot of little ones that night, filler night, overhaul, scene presentation, conservation, cause determination, and risk reduction. June 20th and 27th, we're going to be doing dry hydrants. That's it basically for the fire side. Question to you, we are now entering into the fire ban season. And I want to know how the council wants to deal with fire bans going into effect. We've run it 2 ways before. I review whatever and talk to my counterparts and put it in. Or we can do the same process, come back to council, advise you what I've got, and have you direct me to put in.
Well, it's your call. It's your call to do that.
Okay, operation, good.
So do you want him to come back to council and tell us?
No,
No,
he can.
he just does.
Oh,
He-
yeah, for sure, you'll get notified.
Yeah.
So tell us what
Yeah.
he's doing, but he's not
Right.
gonna tell
No,
us.
but you come back.
Community Emergency Management Coordinator side, since the last meeting with the council here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meetings. Discussed how things were going, the Ottawa River was getting higher. Right now, everything's going down. There is no expectation of a flooding situation whatsoever for KHR. And we have finally received the date of the compliance report for last year, which I've attached to this at the back. But when you do read it, I mean, we did qualify, we did certify in all of the, what is it, 13 functions. Yeah, 13 program elements. But the last full sentence on page 1 ends in 2023, which is a typo. And the first item on the next page is 2023, which is a typo, both should be 2022. They have submitted other letters, but I had these copied already. I didn't want to do it. 2 letters. So that's what I got. Oh, I guess we should look at, that when are you considering we had our first meeting, we were going to put a training and exercise tape together.
What was the?
Pretty flexible. I think when we're talking with Cameron, we're gonna bring everybody in and put down the office for the day. Correct, Abby?
Well, we don't want to do it while you're on. Late or.
I preferred earlier, but if that's what's preferable, we'll make it work.
What about in June?
Then September it is. August, whatever.
Bring it in.
June 23rd.
Each day,
June the 23rd, I'll be back.
June 23rd, fine for me. Including most of you, yes? Okay,
So that's a full day.
all day. All of you will be here,
So it's all of council, all staff,
full council.
like everyone.
When is this?
Friday, June 23rd. And what time?
Start for 9.
Yep.
I'll use the old course I put together when they demanded 4 hours, but I won't be running it for 4 hours. Well, let's say we'll go from 9 to 12, we'll have lunch, and then in the afternoon, we'll do the exercise to see what you learned in the morning.
Exercises? Or exercise?
Wonderful.
So there's one on that stupid commercial on TV. Price less or price less?
Okay,
Leon's.
Friday, June 23rd, perfect. Any questions?
everyone's good with that date?
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll stay tonight, and request a budget meeting.
No problem. Dean,
Okay, street sweeping is complete, we're going down, on the roads. Half loads are off except for the one load of mass from Highway 60 to Round Lake Road. We'll leave that off or on until probably the end of the month. Just because that's a low line area and it's saturated and stuff. Coal patch continues, regular road maintenance. Equipment repair continues. One truck is at the Rush Truck Center in Pembroke for the diagnostics. The float is getting the safety on it, so hopefully the float we can get back before Friday, so we can get the docking with the boat on. If it's not back before Friday, does council want us to go ahead and see if we can get somebody else to move it there and get the docking at the boat launch on Friday? For the long weekend, we're trying to do that, but if it's not ready, we won't be able to get it there, so I'm not sure what council's decision on that. I preferably like it to get in, you know, for the long weekend, and it's not. Okay, so we'll go ahead with that. We're doing the winter stand right now. Hopefully we should get that done next week. If everything goes well. Just like council know, our 4-day work week starts after the long weekend in May till October. We usually have the summer students, and we're still working 5 days a week. Plus the opening and shutting the gates on the weekend from July to September or August, I guess. We always have one guy on staff there to get them going in the morning, and then I'm always on call. So just like council know, that'll be starting after the long weekend. Well, one of our summer students already started for us, which is good because we've got grass cut down and stuff like that. So it's good that we have one going right now. Our bulldozer will have to go in for repairs. It seems to be, it must be a bearing in the final drives. So that's probably gonna have to go in for repairs because we can't do it in hills. It's gonna have to be in for repairs. Dust layer on our roads will be applied accordingly. Most likely not this week due to availability on the trucks from our supplier. We usually try to get one load down for the long weekend, but just the way it ended up there, the supplier can have a truck available this week. Our CPR first aid training is May 23rd. Stage request at St. Andrew's School. We usually bring the stage in like for the long weekend and fly and dire gathering and stuff. But the school, St. Andrew's School, have asked if the stage will be available for their fun day. I do believe it's June 8th. Just wondering what council decisions on that, because we usually don't give the stage out, but it's up to council. I said I'll bring it to council tonight to see what their thoughts are, but I'm not sure what they use the stage for. Well, they're probably gonna have a demand on it, so they want. They don't want to hook it up. They said they'll probably bring their own generator, or they need be, but like normally, like for the long weekend and like in July, we get the masks usually get wired right into the building and stuff like that. So, but it's up to council. Like, as
Yeah.
it's doable, but it hasn't been.
Sounds to me like it's pretty risky.
Council.
Anybody else have an idea?
Well, the only thing they do let us use the school for their fireworks.
I think if it's for the band in that, it's fine. The kids won't be running up and down and around and all that stuff. Myself, if it's to do the band, if they're gonna do something with it, that's fine with me.
Because it's a fun year.
Yeah.
That's my.
Yeah.
If it goes there, then you can start it here afterwards.
Yeah, that's what we normally did, like when we moved it to last year to July, we moved it back here. It stayed back here, and then we moved it to the Irish County, but yeah.
Because did Chris not say something that it was, he had to get a check with Jim McClement maybe? Or somebody was checking it to see if it was,
I understand that it's in rough shape. It's in use some work, but if it's safe enough, then.
Oh, yeah, because we, like, if the council wants, we can back it up and have it like one point meeting, it should be sufficient, but again, it's up to council what they want to do.
and they would look after all the costs as far as hooking up the electricity. They would look after all the costs associated.
Well, no, they said that they probably just didn't have a generator. So they wouldn't have to.
We don't cost us.
Yeah,
They just want to use the stage. And we gotta bring it in a couple weeks after that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It still needs the one trip, one way or the other.
It'll be a good test run.
So, and I think most of the work is like door stuff, it's that,
Give the doors and the shingles around and stuff like that.
like, it's not a real safety thing, the one door stays on anyway, and
All those in favor?
Okay, so brushing and ditching and culverts, we need to chance as well. The last thing was our landfill report. And I know Carl wants to talk about that too as well. We went to a neighboring municipality again, just to see how their landfills operate and how they work and such. To me, there was nothing that would help us. Everything is shipped to Ottawa Valley Waste Recovery Center. We export our garbage, they take it to Ottawa Valley Waste. They take their recycling to Ottawa Valley Waste as well with their C and D. They do brush, everything goes to Ottawa Valley Waste, mostly their transfer stations.
Yeah.
So they don't have C and D, everything goes to Ottawa Valley Waste. So if you have like Mass Road, this is kind of the borderline where the next municipality starts, so everybody from there takes their C and D, their brush, their leaves and needles, they all go to Ottawa Valley Waste, so. So, I don't know, Harold or Carl wants to.
they were talking about even trying to get out of the bio that they were into with Ottawa Valley Waste, because everything is just skyrocketed. And when you bring a load of brush and you pay whatever Ottawa Valley's prices are, and not what belongs to the township. So, and as Dean said, you could put the whole yard of this building almost with 3 bins, that's all that they have. I was shocked, I mean.
But the Gold Lake Way site was nice. They had a drive-through.
Well, you would drive.
But it was a nice site though. It was clean.
They were clean, like I said, they were small though compared to
Oh, I know, but
what we operate with.
And whenever they have a hiccup as far as the truck goes down or whatever, then all the municipalities have to pay into that, right? So it's not part of their, that's up and above.
Any repairs, that's.
Any repairs to say the composting at Ottawa Valley Waste, anything like they said, the trucks, the loaders.
Yeah.
Everything else, it's all, if the loader breaks, then each municipality pays for that.
So that's why they could be looking at getting out,
That's right.
because now the costs are skyrocket, or it was good before when it was nice and cheap.
Everything was new.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. And they don't know how long they're actually operating there.
Yeah.
Recovery center. So. Other than that, that's it for me.
good, thank you. And again, you can stay if you'd like for the budget presentation. Tammy, you're next.
Did you want to do the,
Just have a comment. For
Mhm, yeah.
But offer my condolences on your Toronto Maple Leafs. You no rush to get home for the game? No. It was getting higher out.
I don't mind you saying that at all. Go right ahead. Brian, do you have condolences also? And Harold, would you like to rebut to that?
9 more games than the other team, that's all I can say.
I don't say that you're lying this week or next year.
do you want to do the expenditures, Baldwin?
Or you can have your report?
It kind of goes along with it also. Ted has,
Motion for road and general voucher.
I, Ted Brown, declare pecuniary financial interest with Road and General Voucher 04-2023.
Any questions?
25216.
Wait. 25,
216.
McKinnon Water
Yeah,
Solutions? McKinnon Water Solutions?
what is that? They're getting, they do well.
they drill wells. I've seen them there.
The water system that the village has.
Yeah, because I've seen their trucks, they're really around a lot this year.
Just asking, I thought we drove it in well for that cheap price, so.
I think there was, I think there was something with, water softener or something like that.
Okay, no, I'm just strange thing to be on there. That's it for me, thank you.
No way.
25200.
25300.
No, 25200. PSP citywide.
Oh, that's for the asset management. Plan.
Okay. Is that an annual charge or?
No, it's, we're doing training right now, Dale, myself, and, Kevin. We're having actually a meeting here on Thursday. In terms of training and stuff, but that's for the asset.
Okay, cool, thank you.
And does that tie in with the prevent, like the new one that's coming forward? That's part of that? Did we?
We're actually ahead of that.
Oh, by a lot, by a lot. Was there a grant for that?
You have to ask Dale.
Did receive money, yeah. Municipal modernization.
Oh, right.
Three.
Intake 3, right. Well, we've already got the money. It all came in, I'm assuming. Not all of it, or a portion?
We got it in advance, you guys got it in advance. And once the final training is done.
The
in
next,
fall, then Dale will submit the final application and we'll get the balance and.
It's gonna be a good system once something.
Yeah.
It's really. gonna be-
yeah, by the way, we are way ahead of a lot of other municipalities that they're just starting and they're scratching. Because there's only so much time now. It's provincial, you have to have this done. Any other questions?
I'll ask about the OPP or something.
Have a motion?
Yeah,
By Maureen McMillan, second by Carl Peel, motion to approve the road and general voucher 04-2023 in the amount of $301,102.44.
all those in favor? Carried. We're gonna go back to you.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna go back to Tammy.
Okay, so the only two things that I have right now is I just want to, in your package at the desk, I gave you a copy, of a letter from Justin Allen, from the Ottawa River Power Corporation. He's asking for support in relation to OREG 42904 amendment. I ask that you please take a read of the letter that they have asked us to prepare. And if council agrees with it, I have provided a motion to read for.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried.
I have to do the motion.
Oh, you haven't done the motion?
No,
Oh,
so I need it first and second.
I think
No, it's in your package at the desk.
you emailed it to us.
I read it.
Yeah.
On your
You
phone.
emailed it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been getting. Tammy will get emails, I'll get emails, I'll send them to her. Like
Okay,
it's-
so moved by Bill Smith, second by Harold Levine, that council for the township of Pillars, Integrity and Richards hereby directs the CAO clerk treasurer to provide a letter of comment and support from the township of Hillary, Hagerty and Richards on the proposed regulatory amendments to OREG 42904 adjustments under section 2533 of the GA Regulation Act.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried.
You know that this, the most, quite a bit of the power comes out of Quebec. And Ontario's is charging us surtax, like we go to Ontario and. We shouldn't be paying the surtax on our already power, so Ontario can keep our power. That's what we're trying to get, it'll save $1.3 million for the cost.
Wow.
And the only other thing that I have is Community Development Coordinator Chris Neff was sent an email from the St. Francis Valley Healthcare Foundation inquiring if council would be interested in submitting a team of municipal staff and council for their second annual Rockathon.
Carl?
What do you say?
Anybody have any interest in rocking a thon?
I would, but.
I might. Yeah, I might. Carl, come rock with me.
What's the down?
You're retired, for God's sake.
What's the cost?
Yes, and then you get pledges. Yeah, people have to sponsor you, and then that money obviously is donated to the
Rock with me. Fine.
So I got staff's
I
interested.
can, yep.
Sure, Chris. I'll
Bob?
sponsor you more than-
Wanna come rock? I'm on the committee.
You rocking?
You have,
We'll-
you have a team?
Yeah, we'll coordinate.
we'll coordinate. So Maureen and I will coordinate that,
I'm too old to rock.
and that's all I have.
Moving along. Will? You're here. Nice to see you. We had some questions. I know the question I had was with the back taxes. That was my main thing. Maybe if you could give us a brief overview. I know Will has talked to me earlier, but I think it's important for everyone to hear what happens with the back taxes in regards to where they go, what statement they show on, et cetera.
Okay, well, what you asked me before, okay, yes. So what happens is, the local run the taxes. If you are asking the calculation, the credit side goes to the tax revenue. The debit side goes to the balance sheet. As a receivable, as people pay, the receivable goes down. The tax receivable goes on the balance sheet at the end of every month. And the revenue, and the taxes revenue shows on the income statement every month. That's the way it works.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Thought you were gonna talk longer than that.
Tammy asked me, I'm here to answer any questions on either the budget or the financial statements or that. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, well,
Wow.
I can handle on for a minute if you like. So if there's no questions, then I'll just get some points because this is the first budget that the council went through, okay? Just to give you guys a feeling of everything, okay? Start off with every municipality is unique, so you can't compare our municipality to another municipality. It's just unique. Everyone's unique because of demographics, the economic conditions, the services provided by each municipality, and the makeup of the assessment. That's the big one that makes everything unique. Because depending on where your assessment falls, really dictates where your tax rate's going to fall. Because your tax ratios affect your tax assessments. Okay, so for instance, to just give you guys some examples, if residential assessment, the tax ratio is 1. If you have a lot of commercial, their tax ratio is 1.8%. So that means whatever the assessment is, it gets boosted up 1.8% for the calculation of the tax rate. Okay. The opposite side of that is if your your farmland assessment and your managed forest assessment, whatever their assessment is, their tax rate is calculated on 25% of their assessment. So if you're in a township where you have, a lot of farmland and managed forest, you may have a lot of assessment, but when it comes down to where your assessment that your tax rate is based on is a lot lower than a township that has a lot of commercial or a lot of industrial. So that's a key factor in all of this, for the calculation of tax rates. So for instance, for you guys, you got 5 million worth of assessment for commercial. That translates into almost a little over 9 million assessment for the calculation of the tax rate. Then we come down to the farmland, we have almost 9 million in assessment for farmland. That's only assessed for tax, like for the tax rates at 2 million. So that's, that's something that makes that's why every municipality is unique, is because of those tax ratios. Okay, and just those tax ratios are mandated through the ministry. So like you guys, of course, I'll say that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. Just a couple key things, expenditures that you guys had to address during the budget that normally you guys wouldn't have that this year was the Queen Street demo plus the water write-off that was due on that property. This was the first full year for Boston Fireball for the debenture payment. First full year for Dean's plow truck for the capital lease. The balance of the Queen Street taxes were written off this year. The new work share study that's being done, and the new SCADA computer for the water treatment plant. So basically, all those together is almost $620,000 extra that you guys have to look at this year during the budget deliberation. Just to give you a feel of what was out there. I know that there's been some talk about reserves from meetings. I reached out to Jim Seymour at the ministry. He's the FIR coordinator and financial analysis guy for the ministry. And I asked him if there's a rule of thumb for reserves for a municipality. His answer was, well, that's $1,000 question. And the answer to that is no. There isn't a regular rule of thumb. What we kind of see as auditors, most municipalities look at their working reserve. They try to keep enough in their working reserve to cover their taxes receivable, the water sewage receivable, or any other receivable that the municipality has. And then they try to keep enough on hand in their other reserves, which usually their capital reserves. They keep enough in there for what their future capital expenditures are based on their asset management plan. So not 100%, but most government grants now are falling in the range of somewhere that they'll cover somewhere between 70 and 80%. So that would mean that you'd want to keep somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30% in reserves, just in case something came up. Because usually when a grant comes up, the time frame is pretty short to make the decision. So you want to be able to have the asset management plan, so you can say, okay, yeah, we're eligible. This is why we need this grant. And then two, you wanna be able to say, well, yeah, we have that 25% or 30%. That we can finance our share. Without hurting or raising tax rate more than you have. Okay, that's kind of where reserves are kind of falling. The other thing I looked at, and you guys might not know, the ministry every year, late in the fall, they, after they've looked at your FIR, they come up with what's called a financial indicator review that they, that they do for each municipality in Ontario. And so they break that financial indicator review into two parts. One is the sustainability indicator, and the other one is flexibility indicators. The sustainability indicators, you guys all, and what I did was, the other thing I did, sorry, was because I know the 2022 numbers from the FIR, I went and I calculated the 2022 numbers. So under the sustainability indicators, which are more important than the flexibility indicators, this township is low risk on every one of them, except for one, and we know the one it is, tax receivable. That's, we know that, that's another day to about that one. But other than that, every indicator is low. So that means this municipality, in the eyes of the ministry, is financially strong because the risk is very low. Under the flexibility indicators, the flexibility ones, they're more dependent on a year-to-year basis. That if something changes 1 year, that's not say the norm, but for instance, the debt service one is a good one for flexibility. You guys have been zero since amalgamation. But last in 2022 with the venture with Fireball, you guys went from 0 to 2.2. Well, no big deal. You guys are still low. So that's an example of those flexibilities that they'll change from year to year. Another one of the sustainability ones, which is I'll point out to you guys just to give you guys a feel good, okay? From a financial point of view for the township, it is cash ratio. In 2020, you guys were and prior, you guys have always been somewhere in the neighborhood of you guys had $9 in the bank for every dollar of debt that you guys have. In 2021, you guys had $2 to every dollar because we had cash flow and interest rates were so low. Township cash flow Bob's new fireball. 2022, the venture came in, so now we're back up to $9 for every dollar of debt that we have. Most municipalities are $5 or less. So again, on a financial basis, we're strong. So I just thought I'd point those ones out. And then the other thing I'll point out too is just from an audit point of view, audit perspective, all audits now, our audits are all done on a risk-based. So the risk for this municipality is, for us, from an audit point of view, is low. And just, even with it being low, if there was something that, during our procedural audit, so we basically come in here twice a year. Procedural audit, we look at making sure that what you guys say is happening. For instance, the bank is getting reconciled every month. Is it getting reconciled every month? That kind of thing. That's what we look at procedural audit. Based on what we find in the procedural audit, gives us the basis of how much work then we have to do at year end on making sure that the numbers are all good. But based on the procedural audit, we'll take an example, say the bank isn't getting reconciled. Well, then what we would have to do is write a management letter, which is addressed to council saying, okay, the bank isn't getting reconciled every month, it should be reconciled every month, because since amalgamation, we've never had to write a management letter to this township. So again, there's another indicator that financially, you guys are in good shape, and that the administration is in good shape and doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. Another thing, just give you guys kind of feel at ease about all this. The FIR, which is for a municipality, is equivalent to a person doing their own tax return to the ministry. For the last 3 years in a row, this township has won has been one of the few townships that has won the FIR award for the province. We were also, for 2022, the first municipality in Ontario to file their FIR, which shows how much hard work that Tammy and Sue did to get the numbers all done, and the department heads too, to get me all the information that I needed to be able to complete the FIR. And then, well, you have to thank Greenview too, because we need their engineering numbers for the landfill, because that's the last piece of the puzzle all the time to get the FIR done. And normally most municipalities, engineers, if they don't have an engineer on staff, the numbers we need to finish the FIR usually don't come till the end of March, first part of April, because that's the deadline set by the province for their reports to be in. So they've always been real good to us to get us the numbers ahead of time for us. Today, because I was going to be here tonight, I came up today, and one of the steps I have to do is the budget that you guys are probably going to pass tonight. That's classed as the cash budget. So and that's mandated by the ministry. And it has the balance to do. What I have to do then is I have to convert that cash budget to a PSAT budget, which means I have to bring in, well, I won't bore you with that, but I have to do that conversion to PSAT budget. And I did that today, and I completed it all today. And that budget is very comparable to last year's budget when you look at the comparison numbers. So that's another good thing to say, okay, we're on the right track here. So that's basically all I got today. Anybody got any questions?
I have a good question for you. Hopefully it's a good question. Debentures. Is there debentures?
Yes.
Is there a value before a township will go and look at a debenture? Like, do you need to be able to spend 300,000 to do a debenture, or is there a magical number to ignite?
I don't think so. You have to go talk to Infrastructure Ontario. No.
And they would guide. So that's the process that you would go through.
You as a council, you'd have to decide how you want, if you had a project, how you wanted to finance it. That would be your first step. And then you have to look at your debt, your annual debt, repayment.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you fell within that debt repayment.
I've noticed a lot of townships, not a lot, several, that have 3, 4, 6 debentures. Not great in number, in dollar wise, but they do that to get something done, like fast forwarding it. Is that the norm of a township to do that? I know everyone's different, but
As a council, you have to decide what you would want to do. And what kind of debt structure that as a township you guys are comfortable with. The former council felt that they like to pay as they go. That's why there was there's been no debentures on the fire hall. But there was the cost of the fire hall, there was no way that could be done, other than the fact that because of the way interest rates were, and that we had cash in the bank, it was good cash flow over the 2 years that it took to build. And they also looked at that the debenture is going to be paid off within 15 years, because they didn't want to be saddled with the debt. So it's something that you guys have to decide amongst yourselves and be able to sleep at night with that decision.
it just seems like more and more townships now, or municipalities, are doing this, going to the debenture route, because I think a lot of municipalities are in a situation where their buildings are crumbling, their roads are falling, blah, blah, blah. And they're trying to do quick fixes. Is that the right phrase, a quick fix?
No, it's not a quick fix. It's you're trying to get something done today and finance it over time.
And I think what I'm trying to say is every council is different throughout Ontario. They're doing different things now. So
It took us from 2000 to 2022. And the first debenture we took out was for the fire hall, and then we're in good financial shape. And I don't know why we have to take more debentures out and on the hole. That's my opinion, sorry.
no, but this is a good time to bring this up. We're talking financing.
Like, why do we sink ourselves further in debt? And then we end up with nothing, and we're fighting again. In 2000, we didn't have any money, and we brought it all the way up.
Does anybody have any other questions of Will? Bill?
Just a quick point of clarification, I don't really think it's Bob's fire hall. But he's more than welcome to pay him.
Well, thanks very much. You get 2 pieces. You get 2 pieces. Could have 2 bundles. So I'll start while you're just passing those around. Okay, thank you to Will Barr, our accountant slash strategist. Sue Sheridan, who came out of retirement to help us, as well as our CAO, Tammy. I would first like to apologize for the delay in presenting this budget. Having 4 new people at the table, new staff, and our earnest efforts to be thorough and comprehensive held things up, and we will try to do better in the future. The budget process began with the department heads examining what was budgeted and spent last year. Then they attempted to forecast what they will spend this year. 2023 draft budgets were then presented by the department heads to the finance committee. You'll see that a lot of our costs this year relate to larger price projects. Greenview Environmental for waste sites, Aqua for both water and wastewater plants, and the Killaloe Area Library Board all made presentations to the finance committee as part of the budget process. Council, along with staff, reviewed all budget requests, and department heads were asked to review their budgets for further reductions. And based on review and final recommendations, a 5% tax rate increase is proposed for 2023. A property value valued at $100,000 will see an increase in the municipal levy of about $33.86 per year. Our real growth is 1.28%. This budget affects all 7 of us sitting around this table, just like you. I think each of us here were affected by going through the process, and hopefully it brought us all together as a group. We turned over a lot of stones to come to grips with this budget, knowing it's a difficult time for everyone struggling with rising costs. Council is very aware of these challenges. I was very intrigued to read Gerald Tracy's editorial in the Leader last week. Mr. Tracy's editorial clearly outlined the challenges all municipalities are facing this year. And I enclosed that in your package. Please do read that. It's very worthwhile read. Many municipalities are playing catch up with the infrastructure upgrades during a time when costs are unparalleled. The Bank of Canada inflation rate was 5.9% as we started our budget process in January. The total budget this year of $6,449,719 is an increase of $310,024 from the 2022 estimate of $6,139,695, with $2,897,382 to be collected through the municipal levy, which has increased by $161,894 over 2022's amount of $2,735,488. The 2023 budget deliberations were challenging for both council and department heads. There have been several factors attributing to this increase in 2023, comprising of higher supplier costs, 12% insurance increase, utility increases, outsourcing of equipment repairs, demolition costs, and overall inflation costs. On Exhibit 2, if you look, there is a listing of the 2023 budget factors contributing to the increase. 12% increase in insurance costs, overall increases in fuel, hydro, and supplies, $101,577 as a first payment for a 3-year lease on a new tandem plow truck, $150,000 preliminary work on the new road building, $151,000 for the fire hall debenture this year for 15 years, $200,000 for the SCADA, is that how you say it? SCADA computer system for the water treatment plant, $245,000 for the demolition of 158, 159, and 160 Queen Street. We're looking at a possible sale of property to recoup costs. $17,482 was an increase to the library budget. Inflation, cost of doing business following COVID-19, and there has been no tax increases, tax rate for several years. And the next exhibit is potential projects. The roads department, Hillcrest Road, Stone Church Road, the 2022 tandem truck, and preliminary work construction for the new road yard. Others, new server, computer upgrades, mail exchange, SCADA. I don't pronounce A's very well. Council is discussing selling the property on Queen Street, and their intention is to transfer sale proceeds back to working fund reserves. Council was diligent in their commitment to provide municipal services to our ratepayers. We left a lot on the table, such as 3 additional roads, upgrading the township building, rebranding our township, increasing the clothing and boot allowance for our roads and waste staff, and a sound system for council chambers. The balance in the reserve for working funds after a transfer of $990,257 will be $1,217,051.95. And using $100,000 from road reserves will leave a balance of $232,080. The Capital Waterworks Reserve will have a zero balance, and investment in ORPC, not including the 2023 additions, will have a balance of $17,433.92. The Environmental Reserve Fund, which is set up from waste site tags and tipping fees, currently has a balance of $170,579.03. As well, the municipality has a reserve fund set up for shoreline sales with a balance of $13,749.88 as of December 31st, 2022. And if you take a look at Exhibit 4, which shows the working funds, what we started at our December 31st balance, and then the deletions that the withdrawals that we've taken. And if you were to look at Exhibit 5, which is the first page is of revenue, and it shows percentages that we brought in. And on the second page, which is a graph showing the actual dollar amounts. And they all balance to $6,449,719. And then Exhibit 6 is the expenditures of $6,499,719. Again, the pie chart showing the split between all of the departments, etc. And then again, just on a bar graph showing you the dollar value. The past 3 years have proven to be challenging following and during the COVID pandemic, and we are now seeing the fallout with respect to increased costs of doing business. Here are some of the department notes. Legislative, 2023 estimate, $228,440, an increase over 2022 actual expenditures of $31,659 for this department to account for increased number of regular meetings along with in-person conferences. Administration. The administration budget for 2023 is $548,338 and is approximately $16,588 higher than actual cost to reflect server replacement, new projector, and changing our mail system costs, along with an approximate 12% for insurance premiums for 2023. There are also additional auditing fees due to changes in staffing within the administration department. The administration building. This estimate for 2023 is $71,050 compared to the actual of 22 of $90,581. In 2022, renovations and repairs to the front entrance of the municipal building were done, as well as roof repairs. The fire department. The 2023 department estimates reflect the debenture of the fire hall in the amount of $155,313 and is lower than the 2022 actual, as the capital expenditures of $115,737 is allocated to capital at year end. 2023 estimates include additional training as per the fire chief, increased insurance costs, and equipment repairs to trucks. Policing. The 2023 estimate for the annual requisition for policing costs is $466,534, which is a decrease of $6,439 from 2022. Roads. The 2023 construction projects are estimated at $410,000 and will be offset with the OCIF and gas tax funding, along with $100,000 from the road reserves. Minor increases to the majority of road department categories and higher increases were allocated to reflect fuel increases, 12% insurance costs, the 3-year truck lease, preliminary cost to pursue construction of a new works building in the amount of $150,000. Additional snow plowing and sanding this winter. In addition to cold patching a lot of potholes on our roads and anticipated higher supply costs along with outsourcing of equipment repairs. Building department includes building, sewage inspection, bylaw, and health and safety. Slight increases over 2022 to cover additional wages for the CBO department. Waste management, increase in landfilling to cover increase in tipping fees, grinding costs, insurance, exporting of household wastes. Water and sewage treatment plants. Aqua provided a revised 2023 budget forecast for both plants. Slight increases for both plants to cover Aqua operating contract and estimated capital works. A ICIF grant was received to replace the SCDA computer system, and the municipality's share will be covered out of reserves. Medical center. The medical center 2023 budget estimates will increase over 2022 actual by $4,187 to cover increase in insurance costs and some minor maintenance repairs. Community development. The 2023 budget increased from 2022 actuals, which includes $13,998 for Kildu Pathways Park and will be funded through the reserves set aside. Community events previously canceled due to COVID restrictions have been reinstated, and overall 2023 budget estimates are approximately $33,581 over the 2022 actuals. In conclusion, I'll be asking our entire group, including the treasurer, to make finding new revenue streams a priority mandate, whether it is a licensing program or a revised tax system for residential trailers or collection of outstanding balances in taxes or water and sewage. And my last exhibit is taxes receivable analysis. Now, having a conversation with Will prior, one thing we have to keep in mind is that this was taken at December 31st, and these numbers fluctuate from month to month to month, whether it be up or down.
And also, that I gave you that, I gave council that when I sent financial statements. And you gotta realize that that was a picture of time as of the end of December.
Right.
So you gotta realize that the taxes receivable fluctuate each month. So by doing this presentation, the way it's done, you kind of Photoshop it by you've taken the reserves out for the budget, but you left the taxes the same as what they were in December, and because the taxes fluctuate every month, it's not a real true picture of the tax or the tax ratios that you're looking at right now. So because it was a picture in time in December, you gotta use every. You can't change some numbers and not change the other one. So. If you wanted to, it's okay to take all the December reserves out. Or well, what you put into your budget for 2023, take all of the reserves out of the reserves we had in December. But at the same time, you should look at what the taxes are today, and also put a little codicil for that there's been nothing put in there for instance, our River Power, we get dividends and interest through the year, which get put in there. So that should go, that may not figure into that calculation, but it should be noted on the form that those things are not in there. And that the December numbers for the taxes receivable are used versus the numbers as of today. And depending on cost savings within the departments, or vice versa, and we'll pick on Dean, say a grader pulls a transmission and I don't know, $50,000 to fix it, and Dean has to come to council and say, listen, the grader went, I need $50,000. Where we gonna get it? And council says, well, this won't come out of the reserves, so that's another 50,000 all of a sudden out of the reserves, so. You gotta keep everything in perspective.
So what
And everything at the same.
Yeah.
Same time frame.
So what I did on the reserves document, there's a balance December 31st, 22. And then on the tax receivable, there's a balance at December 31st, 2022. So that's all relative. We're at the same.
That's relative, but the one that's, the one that I've seen, it wasn't the same numbers. Like, I'm just saying that we need everything in the same perspective.
But these two documents are the same though, right? That I issued tonight?
I think so.
They're both at that point of December 31st.
Yes, with your number.
Okay.
The one today.
Yeah. That's
The
what's
one that
important.
I seen the other day was not.
Yes, that was a bad day. That document you got that day, that was a bad day. We had discussion after that about that. So. We're on the same page, right? We're on the same date, December 31st. So these are only suggestions, but working together, council and staff needs to find new streams. No excuses. Excuses I've heard are it's too much work or we won't get the money. This council absolutely needs to make the attempt before the next budget process begins. Standing pat should not be an option. I'm sure everyone will have lots of questions, so I'm continuing my chat with Dave Meep and greets in June. June 3rd, Killu IDA from 10 till 12. June 10th, Eva Schoolhouse 10 till 12. June 17th, Engine House Cafe 10 till noon. And June 24th, the Wilno Tavern 10 till noon. Of course, I'm always available by phone, email, or social media. What I'd like to do is I'd like to call upon each counselor just for comments or outlooks or whatever you'd like to say. Let's start with Ryan.
I don't have too much I can add to that. All I can say is, thank you very much to Will, Sue and Tammy for all the work they did on the budget. And I think they're doing a good job. I think my work might be very good.
Bill?
Yeah, I would say that, for me, the budget process was a really eye-opening experience. In my day job, I manage a pretty big budget with a lot of moving parts, so I have a kind of an understanding. But municipal is completely different than carrying the process. So it really is for that experience going through that and through it. So I thank Will and Tammy and Sue for guidance on that. I think one of the best outcomes of this process for me was that it went a long way. It moved us as council to figuring out how to work together a lot better than we did when we came together 6 months ago. When we first met, and I think we built a lot of good relationships through this process, and I look forward to the next 3.5 years to see what happens with the chickens, all the other things.
I can bring it up there.
Put it that way.
Carl?
I can say everybody did a great job and we know other ways to do this budget. And we went through it and went through it and went through it and we just have to, there's no other option, yes. As we get her done.
Harold,
First of all, I have to thank Will, Tammy, Sue, department heads. For going back through their budget to start with. This is my very first budget. Very, very first, and I learned a lot with it, and I think it went over well. So, great thanks to the people who presented the budget.
Ted,
I have a question on comments in here. About page 9. These are only suggestions, but working together, council and staff needs to find new streams, no excuses. Excuses I've heard that it's too much work and we won't get the money. Elaborate on that.
I think the bottom line is, let's not make excuses, let's start fresh and try to find new
Just
streams.
telling me that you're telling the public, council's already giving you excuses that it's too much work. How will get the money, or am I reading it wrong?
I think you are. I think you are.
Excuses I've heard. I don't know how I can read that any different.
Well, I think you're reading,
So I'm telling you right now that I've never heard anybody in here say it's too much work to try to do stuff. And I am telling you, I have said we won't get the money. So I've been in this chair for 9 years. And I never see money coming in from these taxes that are owed. So I don't want you putting.
you've never seen,
false-
you've never,
False statements out there, getting people's hopes up that we're going to collect all this money from unpaid taxes, because it's not gonna happen.
no, like I said, these are suggestions.
It's
What
not
we're,
an excuse, it's the facts,
well, these are suggestions.
okay?
It was made very
You didn't
clear.
word it very well where it says excuses I've heard are. You just told me that, you didn't say that, but it's right there in writing. I take offense to that.
Well,
That's.
you shouldn't.
I do.
If you do, I apologize for making you feel that way, but we need to find revenue streams. That's the bottom line.
Well, I understand that.
And I think we all felt pretty good about it. Our last meeting, we were all in agreement to finding new revenue streams. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take some hard work. And I think we absolutely have to find new streams.
I've got another. I'm agreeing with Ted here. If you said excuses I've heard, or no one stated it's too much work. Tammy or no one else in the department said it's too much work to try to collect taxes. Right? No one ever said that. No one ever said it's too much work. Because they try all the time to collect taxes and you
And
might as well bang your head against the wall.
we've gone through the taxes before. We've
I know.
both
But you're
doing,
saying, people are saying that.
no, you're reading into it, Carl.
No, you're saying it's too much work. In your statement. Sorry, but that's what I'm reading too.
Yeah, well. Bottom line is we need new streams. You're next.
That's for last, that's for last. So I will say that sitting on this side of the table is a completely different experience than being a member of the public. Like, I can remember the things I said as a member of the public, like, council should do this, or they should do this, and, you know, and sitting here, it's a much different perspective, and so I encourage you, we get very few people at our meetings, they're like, come to meetings and read the budget and see what actually, where your money goes, where your tax dollars go. I think we made really good decisions, and I you know, feel really good about this council. And we did work really well together and worked really hard and really deliberated hard about some of these choices, like having a tax raise. And I know some people are gonna be upset inevitably. But I hope you'll come and talk to one of us and, you know, learn a little bit, because I know my eyes have been opened up pretty wide. Do what the rocks are, and so is Will, you've explained finances in a way that, understandable for those of us who are really, really new. And Tammy, you know, you're solid too. Everyone else.
You notice, Maureen, we put you on that side of the table, the old buggers up.
And so we could look at you and absorb all of your knowledge and wisdom.
Knowledge.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adopt the budget?
Moved by Brian Pekoski, second by Ted Brown, that council for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards hereby approves the provisional budget as presented at the finance committee meeting dated May 3rd, 2023, with a 5% tax increase for the municipal corporation of the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Carried. So you guys are more than welcome to stay for the rest of this if you wish. If not, thank you very much.
Excuse me for one second now.
Well.
Hi.
Don't pay for your fire alarm.
Did you ask Dean if he got his new truck?
Thank you.
His new truck?
Down there.
I know, we were here last week.
Good, awesome. That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Will, can you get some more paper? You get some more paper. Save a damn tree, look.
This is because the fire time. I've got another briefcase in the box in the truck.
Drive safe.
But I'm on old school and I like the paper yet.
Thanks, Will.
All right, thank you.
So we got.
You know, it's there are so many different scenarios that are going around from township to township with this budgeting. Like some people are going high in the increase of tax increase. Some are going high with the reserve, like you can't put your finger on what, like Will said, everybody does something different. Sorry?
No, they're all unique. See what you're gonna get, the little weasels. They killed 10 of his chickens already. With your chickens.
We are.
Okay, we're gonna move on to correspondence now. Everyone received this, the men's shed last meeting. Did you guys take a look at it at all?
Yeah.
Anybody have any recommendations?
I'm the only old one.
No, what about,
No, never mind, leave me out.
I actually met,
He's the only one.
I met the guy who started the gentleman there. I took his picture actually for a project. And yeah, he showed me some of his good working. And it's a great idea, a great initiative. For sure. I think it's worth looking into, but it's also, I think. It would be nice to see if that could fit maybe into somewhere existing. You know?
would council want him to come and visit with us and talk about it, his projects? You think that would be important, or?
I think we have the gist of it. It might be interesting to see if there's actually people in the community who are interested at the starting point, you know?
CRC met with him, just about a year ago now. And, we're considering different ways that we could potentially start a project like that because it's actually going to.
Yeah.
And we felt that at the time, like, there was areas to do it, space being.
Yeah.
Yeah. looked around and considered a few different options here in the village and couldn't really identify any place to do it.
Well, if anyone has any ideas. You're not at retirement age yet.
Is someone trying to freeze with that?
She's gold.
This also was brought forward from the previous meeting. To come back and look at,
To come back with a resolution.
come back with a resolution.
Yep.
West Lincoln.
So I have a motion on the floor made by Maureen McMillan, second by Brian Bukowski, that council for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards hereby supports the resolution from the township of West Lincoln regarding the support of Bill 5, Stopping Harassment and Abuse by Local Leaders Act, and further that this resolution be forwarded to the Honorable Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, and local area MPPs.
We do all in favor?
Yep.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. The next one is in regards to spongy moth. I thought this was really, the next one is from Adamston Bromley. I thought this was a really good article, not to blow smoke up you, but Mr. Fleury, but this was a really good article and hopefully you guys will read this. It's reality. This one, McDougal. Just it was a contest to win $10,000. Yeah. And again, another one from a newspaper in regards to Whitewater. This could tie into something with our new revenue line.
As she stated, it's just the police of the cost and everything. I read.
Yeah.
The cost of policing is just, how do how do you do it?
Well, we could move that to one of our committees and take a look at it further, see where, if it has legs. I think it's worthwhile to look at it and see how they make out. Maybe the Cambridge one. Oh, yeah, here it is. City of Cambridge Highway Act amendments.
So is this something to support, would this be relatable to our township whatsoever? With our speed issue? Or would that be a stretch?
I think it might be a stretch,
Okay.
but good thought. We have a resolution for the opioid. Okay, the next one is the opioid crisis in our communities. And Tammy has a motion to be read.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Maureen McMillan, that council for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards hereby request the government of Ontario to maintain OHIP coverage for chronic pain treatment and continue to provide much needed care for the people of Ontario, and further that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Premier of Ontario, the Minister of Health, the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, and local area MPPs.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Next one is from the town of Plimpton, Wyoming. Resolution in support of the region of Waterloo removing addresses on municipal election forms.
Yeah.
New proposed provincial policy statement. from the county of Prince Edward. Township of Perth South. Regarding the use of long-term care funding to support community care services. A second greenhouse at Killaloe Pathway Park. Oh.
I, Maureen McMillan, declare I have a pecuniary financial interest regarding correspondence from CRC. I, Bill Smith, declare I have a pecuniary interest regarding correspondence from CRC.
You have to give us a few minutes to read it because we just got it.
They're asking for permission, but we can't really give them full permission because we still have to look at zoning. We had to get a rezoning the last time for the last greenhouse. We have to contact the county to see if we can even do that. There's steps that have to do, so I do have a motion prepared indicating that we can move forward with investigating the possibility of it. And also too, an agreement was never prepared last time. So I have in the motion that we further contact the township solicitors to come up with an agreement with CRC. Because there's nothing in place for the first one.
It's our land, right? Why would we need as the county to do that?
Because they're planning, it's part of their official.
Part of
plan.
the.
It's
Really?
part of their official plan that comes down to ours.
It was us putting up the greenhouse, I don't think it would be a problem, right? It was our land.
No, we still have to get it. We have to get we had to get a rezone for the first greenhouse. Yes, so there's some investigating I have to do with the county.
Wow.
That's
Oh,
another
yeah.
thing. That's another thing. We have to where it goes, like we have to have that initial discussion. This is the first part. We haven't had that.
No, they could go each side of the other one.
We'd have to get
Chris and all the.
Tyler.
Well, isn't there a washroom going in? Isn't there a washroom going through there too? Being put there? There was a grant, wasn't it?
Have to keep in mind if we have them looking in for grants and stuff to revamp that old barn.
Hmm.
So we'd have to keep that all in mind, but I think we should still look into it.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just. But
So I have a motion.
because there's a washroom too, right? That's coming in there. So that, again, that covers a lot of land, the washroom plus,
The washroom
This
has
one.
already been figured out.
but this one's twice as big as the other one, right? I think. Anyways, I'm sure we're gonna have lots more discussion. Yeah. But that's, like you said, this is the first step, so.
So this is my motion moved by Ted Brown, second by Carl Keel, that council for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richard hereby directs the CAO clerk treasurer to investigate further the possibility of the construction of a second greenhouse at Killaloe Pathways Park, and further that the township solicitor be contacted in regards to entering into an agreement with the Community Resource Center for such subject for the municipal corporation of the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Here. Do you read the motion to them too? No. Municipal fleet. Fire truck?
Oh, we were just doing exercise.
Yeah.
Oh,
Municipality of Tweed. Annual general meeting of the Family and Children's Services of Brentford County. So now we're gonna go into bylaws. Can I have the motions for the following bylaws?
So moved by Maureen McMillan, second by Ted Brown, at bylaw 16/2023, being a bylaw to amend the procedural bylaw 27/2023 to govern the proceedings, conduct, and calling of meetings of the municipal council and committees for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty, and Richards at its regular meeting held on May 16th, 2023, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally passed the 16th day of May 2023.
Any discussion? I have to apologize because I did not get my sheets in with Tammy because I was on county council business over the weekend, but I have several questions in regards to this. Would council prefer me to sit with Tammy and go through this, or would you like to go through this tonight?
Well, I guess the bylaw in the past, and later if council agrees with
Or skip that bylaw and move to the next one?
no,
Whatever you want to do.
I thought there was a deadline, having give us a deadline for at the last week.
It's supposed to be done this meeting.
Stuff it.
Anyways, I said, I apologize. I was planning on doing it this weekend, but unfortunately I was doing other things, so.
pass the bylaw and
We can consider amendments. You can do that.
give that to Tammy with your concerns. That's all I did.
I'll give you 5 minutes for your concerns.
I went through the whole.
I want you to twice.
No, no, I had plans on doing this last week, but I was tied up.
Tell you.
Like, just for instance, there's a couple things like the inauguration. We discussed that earlier. We were gonna change that. That wasn't changed.
I changed it, yes.
It still says the same as it did before.
Yep.
In December.
Nope. And that was one of Ted's changes. The first inaugural meeting of the new council of the municipality after a regular election shall be held in council chambers located at 1 John Street, Killaloe, Ontario, no later than 31 days after its term commences. The mayor-elect and the CAO, clerk treasurer, or designate shall be responsible for the content of the agenda and the arrangements for the inaugural proceedings. The inaugural meeting will take place at 11 a.m.
What was it before?
It was,
Oh, yeah,
It was like,
no, it was actually the week after the election.
Oh, before, yes.
We never followed it.
it was that, and then it was the second meeting in December. It was noted, so that was changed to reflect what the Elections Act says, and it says it's no later than 31 days after its term commences.
no later than 30. So it can be
So-
moved at any time.
So so it can be decided on the date, but no later than 31 days after it commences.
Okay. Can I have 5 minutes to Tammy and do this, then we can do this? Is, right, you don't mind? Do you want to go for a pop or something while I?
Well, we're still in a meeting, so they still have to pay attention.
Okay, page 6. Yeah. So we had discussion about the chair voting.
Chair vote.
So is that in here that the chair votes now?
Yes, to vote on all matters which are moved and second or necessarily arise in the course of the proceedings.
Where did we feel that the chair didn't have a vote? Where did that start from?
Never started.
You always past councils. The chair opted not to vote unless it was a tie,
Yeah, that was it.
which.
Was
it's
that,
up to- it's basically up to you as the chair of this meeting if you want to vote or break the tie.
And it doesn't matter in the past and in this one here, a non-vote is classified as a negative vote.
right, right.
Mhm. And it's always been that way.
Okay, so if you have a strategic plan meeting, you get to vote, right? So there's no absent anymore. Okay. 8.3, no council member shall not. Do we need the word not?
I would think so. No council member shall not use offensive words or unparliamentary language or against council. No member shall not speak on any subject other than the subject in debate. Shall not criticize any decision of council or continue. Shall not actively undermine the implementation, and it goes on. So they shall
Yeah.
not do the following.
So not is
Shall not.
shall not.
Mhm.
Okay. Hey, we're moving along here pretty good.
At the inaugural meeting.
10.12. The spelling of matters. First line, matters.
Pardon word.
And wow. Page 9.
I can change that.
Okay. Some of the other councils and plus the US government have had discussion in regards to cell phones in council chambers. And the word TikTok on their company cells. Do we need to put anything in our bylaws about that?
License of cover.
That's right here, that's all the time, and they're owls in the work. Brian, everybody told that.
19.1. So in regards to the 19.1, the CAO clerk treasurer shall have prepared and printed for the use of members at the regular meetings of council an agenda under the following headings. I know I had asked Tammy earlier in regards to doing one of these for committee meetings, having a set agenda, but can't Tammy inform me that she just basically takes what's on here, slides it into the committee. Do we need to have a committee one for this? Or is that good enough to just to understand that's the way it's going to be? The other question I had, and it's from a personal standpoint, should I not have something to say in regards to the actual the agenda? Like, should I get told prior to this person's coming in as a delegation, or this is gonna be a motion, blah, blah, blah. Do I need to put that in here, or do we just, you and I communicate?
I think if a person wants to do delegation, you tell them to get in contact with Tammy.
No, I'm saying if Tammy takes the call and there is a delegation coming and I don't know about it, like I don't want anyone to be blindsided.
We don't know who they are either.
But we do.
No, but you,
We get our
You
package.
get a
it's
package,
there.
they'll know who's coming.
yeah, but I'm saying so say somebody comes in Monday afternoon and say they want to be a delegation. And let's say, forget that I'm even here, say Ted, you're taking the meeting. And all of a sudden. You see that person and they're gonna be a delegation. But you didn't know they were gonna be a delegation.
Tammy's notified Ted that there's a delegation coming.
And I would notify all the council like I've done in the past.
Yeah. And sign it then.
Okay, so. So the chair of the meeting shouldn't have special treatment.
No. Seconds.
Oh, no, that's long.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for that now. What was this thing? Okay. Any other discussion? Again, I apologize. This shouldn't have happened.
Just a spelling with the matter. I needed a double, just a spelling, so I will change them. To reflect.
Okay, all those motion,
Moved by Maureen McMillan, second by Ted Brown, that bylaw 16/2023 being a bylaw to amend the procedural bylaw to amend procedural bylaw 27/2022 to govern the proceedings, conduct and calling of meetings of the municipal council and committees for the township of Hillary, Haggerty, Richards at its regular meeting held on May 16th, 2023, be given its first, second, and third reading, and finally pass the 16th day of May 2023.
all those in favor? Right. Bylaw 17.
Moved by Brian Kokoski, second by Ted Brown, that bylaw 17/2023 being a bylaw to establish a code of conduct for members of the municipal council and local boards for the municipal corporation of the township of Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards at its regular meeting held on May 16th, 2023, be given its first, second, and third reading, and finally pass this 16th day of May 2023.
Any discussion? Just me again. 8.0. Is that new? All of that whole section?
Yes.
So this wasn't in before, this is all new.
Mhm.
Anybody have any questions about that? Conduct at meetings.
Conduct at meetings.
We can't be stupid. Fun.
No fun allowed. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Bylaw 18.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Maureen McMillan, that bylaw 18/2023 being a bylaw to establish a policy for council and staff relations for the municipal corporation of the township of Killaloe, Hagerty, and Richards at its regular meeting held on May 16th, 2023, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally pass the 16th day of May 2023.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Bylaw 19.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Ted Brown, that bylaw 19/2023 being a bylaw to adopt estimates of all sums required for municipal purposes during the year and to strike the rates of taxation for the year 2023 and to further provide for penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for 2023 for the municipal corporation of the township of Killaloe, Hagerty, and Richards at its regular meeting held on May 16th, 2023, begin its first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 16th day of May 2023.
Any questions or concerns? All those in favor? Carried. Number 20.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Bill Smith, that bylaw 20/2023 being a bylaw to establish remuneration rates for members of council for the municipal corporation of the township of Killaloe, Hagerty, and Richards at its regular meeting held on May 16th, 2023, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 16th day of May 2023.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Bylaw 21.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Ted Brown, that bylaw 21/2023 being a bylaw to appoint municipal officers and set salaries and benefits for the township employees for the municipal corporation of the township of Killaloe, Hagerty, and Richards at its regular meeting held on May 16th, 2023, beginning its first, second, and third reading and finally pass the 16th day of May 2023.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Was there any unfinished business? New business. Counselor McMillan.
Okay, I'm sorry to be with one such a busy night. Best for last. So I had to bring this tonight because we kind of have a bit of a crunch in terms of applying for the children grant. So Bill and I were approached by a couple of members of the community, some parents of teenagers or preteens, with the idea of building a mobile skate park, which would have been placed on the rink surface. Like they build ramps and stuff and place it on the rink. So anyway, we kind of circulated on this idea and decided to have a second meeting with them and another parent, and Harold came because Harold is kind of like the rink guru. He knows everything about rinks and concrete and has kind of went to both rinks to see if this would be a possibility. And at this meeting, Bill brought up the fact that there is a trillium capital grant up to $150,000 where we could maybe actually build a real skateboard park. We know that our teams have nothing to do here. They're hanging out under the bridge. Like these aren't the teams who are like on our youth advisory. These are the teams who they have nothing to do. They're bored. So they wreck things and they, sometimes get up to bad behavior. They desperately need something in our community. They really are like probably the most underlooked group, and we have a lot of teenagers coming up. We see them wandering around town. They get kicked out of the post office. They get kicked out of everywhere. I have a teenager. I know nobody likes teenagers, but they need something in our communities. I do. I see how people look at my kids when they go somewhere. The kids really want to be involved, so we've identified at least like just by going to one school, there were about 20 to 30 kids who are really, really interested in this idea. They're really keen to help fundraise. If there had been enough time, they would have come and presented this themselves, but this is like, because this grant has a very short window, it's kind of why I'm bringing it here without them. And that's like interest from one school and, you know, talking to some teenagers. There's a lot of interest with the community. So what I'm requesting is that we just ask council to allow Chris has connected with the people who built the Pembroke Skate Park, and I have pictures, you've probably driven by and seen how busy it is. So he has connected with the two gentlemen who were involved in this skate park. They really want to work with municipalities and with whatever budget we can get to build things in our communities. They also run skateboard camps. They're committed to coming and running camps over here if we partner with them and work with them. So we're just asking that Chris has permission to look into this to see if it's even a possibility. I know there's a lot of things that have to be looked into, like liability. We've kind of identified one potential location, but I don't know if that's the location. There's a lot of things he has to look into, and things can change as well as the grant goes on. And if it's not probable, Bill was saying we can even withdraw our application if it's just something that we don't want to pursue.
I think an important part would be to, before we go ahead with it, to, get, do a community consultation from the
Yeah.
community. For sure.
Yeah,
Just a question, you said 150,000, did we have to put anything up, or is it 100%?
it's 100%.
100% funding.
Yeah, but the turnaround is, the deadline is June 15th. It's a quick turnaround, which is why we didn't want to push it to our next meeting. We just wanted to get him permission to keep pursuing this and just to see where we can get. And if it's even a possibility.
What you mentioned, once we apply, you can always withdraw after.
Yeah, yeah, you could, yeah.
I'm just thinking on the, so the location will be a big,
Yeah, so
where it's going to be. You need to have. Bill mentioned about the public input because you want a skate park beside your house.
yeah,
I don't know, but that's one, I think, a big area.
yeah, absolutely.
For sure. The, I think what made me really, I don't know, changed my mind. We were in a meeting with, the community. And the one parent who was there, or one of the three parents who was there, said that, when Barry Fay built their skate park back whenever it was, when he was a kid, it saved his life. You know,
Yeah.
and the positive benefits of giving kids something to do. And this is what they want to do. That's why I'm happy to support it.
Now they use Queen Street in front of my house for some parking. No, seriously.
No, the hill.
And that's a good place.
They use the hill, don't they?
Yeah,
Down that hill?
But no, at my place, there are skateboards going down a highway yet, you know? I was looking for one guy.
40 kilometers an hour.
Well, he played, was it even 40?
and there are no skate parks between Bancroft and Pembroke. There's nothing. It's kind of like a dead zone. So it is also an opportunity to bring people in if we have skate camps and things like that. Like, it is a good opportunity to bring other youth in as well. From
I know Pembroke's bigger than us, but I've never gone by there, and there's not somebody.
Yeah, it's very well used.
Always, I see it about at least twice a week in town, and I see it, it's always somebody there.
Yeah, and we had parents from here driving their kids to the camps.
You don't want to put them somewhere out of sight.
Yeah,
It should be noticeable, because you know what happens when stuff's out of sight.
So
So-
we're looking for, approval from council for Chris to continue moving ahead.
Do I have a motion?
Let's hear the motion.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Ted Brown, that council for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards hereby directs the community development coordinator to investigate the possibility of a potential skate park in the village of Killaloe under the Ontario Trillium Grant Program for the municipal corporation of the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Again, Maureen gets her own way.
Chickens on the table.
Next, you'll want a chicken farm.
And a big hose in the middle, so everyone can get free water.
I still got, I got the tap pen. You got,
That's what it's about.
do we need to move home? Can I have a motion for the confirming bylaw?
Moved by Tim Brown, second by Harold Levine, that bylaw 2023 being the bylaw to confirm the proceedings with council of the Township of Kilby, Hagerty and Richards at its regular meeting held on May 16th, 2023, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 16th day of 2023.
All those in favor? Carried. Motion to adjourn.
Moved by Brian Petrowski, second by Maureen McMillan, motion to adjourn the regular council meeting on May 16th, 2023 for the Township of Kilby, Hagerty and Richards.
All those in favor? Carried.
What do I have to compare it to that? No, yeah, and we have to wait for us. Somebody's throwing chickens on the can.
You can't